Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Current Affairs for Beginners, a unique initiative by Law Excellence IAS Academy. Before starting our today's session, first we'll see answers for the questions from our previous video. The first question is, in which among the following constitutional bodies the members are eligible for reappointment? Election Commission, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Finance Commission. Here the answer is only 1 and 3. It is B. CAG is not eligible for reappointment. Only Election Commission members and Finance Commission members are eligible for reappointment. So the answer here is B. The next question is, who among the following constitute the committee for appointing the Chief of Central Bureau of Investigation? Prime Minister, CJI, Home Minister, Leader of Opposition, Central Vigilance Commissioner. The answer here is Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India and the Leader of Opposition for Lok Sabha. It is only 1, 2 and 4. The answer here is C. As we have promised that we will be providing you with 3 mains questions daily. These are the 3 questions from our today's Hindu newspaper. You can answer these questions in our CivilsPrep website. In this website, our staff will review your answers and they'll provide their feedback. And we'll be providing you with model answers for these questions as soon as possible. That is mostly within a week. And we will also provide you detailed videos for each and every question regarding the model answer of each and every question, how to write it, what should be the introduction, what should be the body of it, and how it should be concluded. For each and every answer, we'll be doing a 3-minute video which you can access in our Law Excellence website and our Law Excellence YouTube channel and our official Telegram channel also. Now let's start today's session. These are all the topics that we are going to cover in our today's video. Our first article is the Indian Bustard on its last legs. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of environment and the subtopic is conservation of wildlife. From this article, we are going to see about this bird called as Indian Bustard. This bird was listed in Schedule 1 of Indian Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 and as per the IUCN Red List, this bird was given critically endangered status. From this article, now what we are going to see about this is this great Indian bustard is found only in India. And it is a large bird with horizontal body and long bare legs which gives it an ostrich-like appearance. The most important thing from this article what we are going to see now is what are the reasons for the decline in the populations of this great Indian bustard. One is because of hunting. Another one is poaching. And because of agriculture, intensification of agriculture and habitat destruction. These birds generally they used to be in wastelands. These wastelands were being converted for industrial use. So their habitat is being destructed. Here we said that intensification of agriculture due to excessive use of pesticides. These birds were getting affected. Their metabolism is getting affected, which is leading to decline in their number. And the other reasons were infrastructural development like irrigation, roads, electric poles, mining and industrialization. And the new reason which has come up now is, here we can see that more recently their grassland homes are now sites for renewable power projects, so that their land, the place where they live, has been used for renewable power projects with new wind turbines with which new power lines will come up. These power lines were also leading to death of these birds. So these are some of the reasons that were leading to the decline of this great Indian bustard. So whenever any bird appears in paper, just note it down and in which schedule it was listed according to the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, and what is its IUCN status, and what are the reasons for its decline in number. The next article is Widening Gulf. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of international relations, and the subtopic is various international groupings. From this article, we are going to see about two organizations. One is OPEC and the other one is GCC. First, we'll see about this GCC. What is this GCC? Gulf Cooperation Council. The Cooperation Council for Arab States of the Gulf region is known as Gulf Cooperation Council. This was established in 1981 as a political and economic alliance of all Arab countries of Persian Gulf except Iraq. Here you can see the member countries of this Gulf Cooperation Council who are all bordering the Persian Gulf. They were Oman, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain and Kuwait. But Iraq, though it is bordering the Persian Gulf, it is not a member of this GCC. The headquarters of this Gulf Cooperation Council is in Riyadh of Saudi Arabia. And all current member states of this GCC are monarchies. Here the rule is monarchic rule. And out of this 7 countries, constitutional monarchies were 3, absolute monarchies were 2, and there is one federal monarchy which is the United Arab Emirates. These 2 absolute monarchies were Oman and Saudi Arabia, whereas these constitutional monarchies were Kuwait, Qatar and Bahrain. This organization, which was signed in 1981, established in 1981, promotes economic, security, cultural and social cooperation between the member states, and they will hold an annual summit to discuss cooperation and regional affairs of the member countries. The next one is OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. This is an intergovernmental organization of 15 oil exporting countries. These are the developing nations that coordinate with each other to have a uniform petrol policies to all the 15 member countries. The headquarters of this organization is in Vienna of Austria. The mission of this organization is to, just now I have said, to coordinate and unify petroleum policies of these member countries and ensure that the oil markets are stabilized in order to secure an efficient, economic and regular supply of petroleum to the consumers. This is to stabilize these things and to get a steady income, to provide steady income to the producers and get a fair return on the capital, that is the amount invested, fair return in the sense profits on the capital that is being invested for those who are investing in the petroleum industries. All the 15 countries of this organization, they account for an estimated 43% of global oil production and 73% of world's oil reserves. If we divide the members into 3, among Asia and Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, United Arab Emirates and Qatar were the members of this organization. And from Africa, Algeria, Angola, Libya, Congo, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea and Gabon were the member countries. And from South or Latin America, Ecuador and Venezuela are the members of this organization. The next article is India recorded 95 tiger deaths in 2018, 41 outside reserves. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of environment, and the subtopic here is conservation of wildlife. From this article, we are going to see about an institution known as National Tiger Conservation Authority. What is this National Tiger Conservation Authority? This is a statutory body. That means it is established by an act under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It has acquired its statutory status from Wildlife Protection Amendment Act of 2006, which has amended Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. This authority is responsible for addressing the administrative as well as ecological concerns for conserving tigers. From the name itself we can say it is National Tiger Conservation Authority by providing statutory basis for protection of tiger reserves. This authority, it will make sure that the guidelines for tiger conservation will be enforced properly, that is they are being implemented properly, and it will monitor their implementation. It will also place some motivated and trained officers for having good track record as field directors of tiger reserves. And this authority will provide strong institutional mechanisms for protecting ecologically sensitive areas and endangered species. Now if we see the structure of this authority, the Environment Minister is the chairman of this authority. Below the chairman, there will be 8 experts or professionals who are having qualification and experience in wildlife conservation and welfare of people, including tribals. Apart from this, 3 members of parliament, 1 from Rajya Sabha and 2 from Lok Sabha will be the members of this National Tiger Conservation Authority. The Inspector General of Forests, who is in charge of the Project Tiger, will also serve as ex officio member secretary. According to this Wildlife Protection Act, every state government is having the authority to notify. It is not the central government who will notify an area as a tiger reserve, but it is the state government who is having authority to notify an area as a tiger reserve. Whereas the tiger conservation plans sent by the state government has to be approved by this National Tiger Conservation Authority first. And this authority will advise the state governments to put forward a proposal for creating tiger reserve. First it will be sent to this, and the central government through this authority will approve this creation of tiger reserves in the state. And every year the central government will put an annual report that is submitted by this NTCA in each house of the parliament. Some other functions of this NTCA are, we have already said that it is to regulate and implement or to conserve the tiger reserves. It will be regulating and standardizing the tourism activities in these tiger reserves, and it will provide management focus and measures for addressing the man-animal conflict. It will manage this, and it will also provide measures to address these or to reduce these man-animal conflicts, and it will provide information on protection measures, how to protect, and it will ensure that the tiger reserves and areas linking one protected area or a tiger reserve with another protected area or tiger reserve are not diverted for ecologically unsustainable uses. That is, these tiger reserves shouldn't be converted into industrial areas that will affect the environment. Except this can be done except in public interest, and that too it can be converted with the approval of National Board for Wildlife, that too on the advice of this Tiger Conservation Authority. This authority will facilitate and support the tiger reserve management in states. The next article is ISRO's GSAT7A to add muscle to the Air Force. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of science and technology, and the subtopic is awareness in the field of space. From this article, we are going to see about GSAT7A. From the prelims point of view, we need to know the particulars of this GSAT7A. First of all, what is this GSAT? GSAT series of geosynchronous satellites is a system that is developed by Indian Space Research Organization with an objective to make India self-reliant, that is, to be self-reliant without depending on others in broadcasting services. And we know that geosynchronous satellite is a satellite in the geosynchronous orbit with an orbital period that is same with that of Earth's rotation period. So now let us see about this GSAT7A. We said that these series were developed by ISRO to make India self-reliant, especially in broadcasting services. Now this GSAT7A is a military communication satellite system that is meant exclusively for Indian Air Force. This GSAT7A will be placed in the geostationary orbit, and this communication satellite is expected to help our Indian Air Force to interlink different ground radar stations, air bases, and airborne warning and control system aircraft. It is going to help the Indian Air Force to interlink all these three systems so that it will improve the Indian Air Force's network-centric warfare capabilities. And in case of satellites, there were different kinds of frequencies like L-band, S-band, Q-band, all these. This satellite will have a frequency of Q-band frequency, which is used for satellite communications, and it is used for direct broadcast satellite services. So here you can see this Q-band frequency will enable superior real-time aircraft to aircraft communication. Along with the Indian Air Force, this GSAT7A is also expected to be a big push for drone operations, because it will help the Navy to reduce relying on, still now our Indian Navy is relying on ground control stations, and this will help them to take satellite control of military unmanned aerial vehicles, that is the drones, which will help boost their range and endurance of these unmanned aerial vehicles. The next article is the spectre of deportation. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of international relations. From this article, we are going to see about an agreement known as Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal Motor Vehicle Agreement. What is this BBIN Motor Vehicle Agreement is about? We have seen that BBIN stands for Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal. This act is a step that has aimed at sharing prosperity in South Asia, and it is meant to facilitate movement of commercial vehicles across the borders of these four countries. This agreement was signed in Thimphu of Bhutan in 2015 to permit the member states to allow their vehicles in each other's territory for transportation of cargo, that is goods and passengers, including third countries' personal vehicles. So the main objective of this agreement is to allow the vehicles, that is to provide seamless, that is continuous people to people contact and enhance, that is to improve economic interaction by facilitating cross-border movement of people as well as goods. And as per this agreement, the member countries will allow vehicles that were registered in other countries to enter their territory under certain terms and conditions of this agreement. And one more important thing from the prelims point of view is who is providing technical, advisory and financial support to this BBIN motor vehicle agreement is, it is the Asian Development Bank, which is providing technical, advisory and financial support to this agreement. The next article is Climate Talks Deliver Rulebook. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of environment and the subtopic is climate change. From this article, we are going to see about three things. One is UNFCCC, Conference of Parties, and the other one is Global Stock Take. The first one is UNFCCC, which means United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This is an environmental treaty that came into existence under the United Nations in 1992. This is negotiated at United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, and this is also known as Earth Summit 1992 that was held in Rio de Janeiro of Brazil. The role of this is to provide a framework. From the name itself we can see United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So this will provide a framework for negotiating specific international treaties, that is to negotiate some protocols. These protocols which were aimed to set binding limits on greenhouse gases on the countries that were signing these treaties or protocols. So from this we can say that the objective of this is to stabilize greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere at a level that will prevent dangerous consequences. Here you can ask a question whether the members of this convention are considered as binding. Do they have any binding on this? No. This treaty is legally non-binding because the treaty itself will set no binding limits on the greenhouse gas emissions for the individual countries, but it will provide a framework that will allow the countries to enter into a treaty which provisions are binding on the countries. Who is a decision-making body of this convention? It is the Conference of Parties. The Conference of Parties is the supreme decision-making body of this convention. Here, all the states, whichever are parties to this, all the member states of this convention are represented at this decision-making body, this Conference of Parties. These member states will review the implementation of any legal instruments that this Conference of Parties adopts, and they will promote for effective implementation of this convention. The first Conference of Parties meeting was held in COP1 was held in Berlin of Germany in 1995. Now at present, Conference of Parties 24th meeting was held in Katowice of Poland in 2018. The next one is Global Stock Take. This refers to 5-yearly review of the impact of climate change action that was taken by the countries. So how it came into picture? in the Conference of Parties meeting that was held in 2015 in Paris, an agreement called as Paris Agreement was signed. Under this agreement, each country has to present a climate action plan that was taken by individual country. Each individual country has to present a climate action plan every 5 years once. So under this Paris Agreement, this action plan that was submitted by every country once in every 5 years will be reviewed in 2023. This review is known as Global Stocktake. It is a review of the impact, how the climate action plan that was taken by every country had its impact. So the first global stocktake, that the first review will happen in 2023. This will help the world to determine whether it needs to do more, whether it has to improve its action plan, and how much it has to do. So India has demanded for 10-year period for this global stocktake, whereas European Union and some others have demanded a 5-year cycle. India here, it argues that this 5 years is very short time to assess whether the actions were having desired impacts, because this GST global stocktake will review the impact of the climate action plans that were taken by the countries. The next article is Joint Parliamentary Committee cannot review Supreme Court order. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of polity, and the subtopic is constitutional and non-constitutional bodies. From this article, we are going to see two constitutional bodies. The first one is CAG. What is meant by this CAG? Comptroller and Auditor General of India. This is an authority that has been established by the Constitution under Article 148. This institution will audit all the receipts, that is all the revenue and all the expenditure by the government of India as well as state governments, and also all the bodies and authorities that were being financed by the government. It will audit the receipts, that is the income, revenues that are being earned by these organizations, and the expenditure of these bodies. Along with these, this CAG also acts as an external auditor for government-owned corporations. Government-owned corporations in the sense like public sector undertakings, and it will conduct supplementary audit of government companies like any non-banking, non-insurance companies in which the state and union governments were having a share of at least 51%. And as I have said that this CAG is responsible for auditing. After auditing, it will make a report. This report will be sent for consideration to the committees, to two committees. One is Public Account Committee and the other one is Committees on Public Undertaking. These are special committees in Parliament and state legislatures who will review these reports and then submit it to the Parliament. Now, let us see what is the status of this CAG and who will appoint it and what is its removal process. This CAG enjoys same status as that of a judge of Supreme Court in India in the order of precedence, that is in the order of ranking. And he will be appointed by the President of India based on the recommendations of Prime Minister. And after the appointment, he has to take an oath or affirmation before the President of India. Next, who will remove this CAG? This CAG can be removed only on an address from both the houses of Parliament based on the grounds. On what grounds he can be removed? One is proved misbehavior or incapacity. He is incapable to perform the role of CAG. This CAG will vacate the office once he or she attains the age of 65 years or by completing 6 years, whichever is earlier. Now, the next one that is mentioned in this article is Public Accounts Committee. Just now we have said that this Public Accounts Committee is a special committee in the Parliament of India. This committee is a committee of selected members of Parliament, and it is constituted by the Parliament of India to audit the revenue and expenditure of Government of India. Who will give this report to PAC? It is the CAG. It will audit this report submitted by the CAG. This Public Accounts Committee is formed every year, once in every year, and this committee is composed of 22 members. Out of these 22 members, 15 are from Lok Sabha and the rest 7 are from Rajya Sabha, the upper house of the Parliament. The term of office of the member is only 1 year because it is constituted every year to audit the revenue and expenditures of the Government of India. Who will appoint the chairman of this committee? This committee's chairman is appointed by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. And since 1967, the chairman of this committee is selected from the opposition party only. It is not from ruling party. It is a member of opposition party will be the chairman of this Public Accounts Committee. The present chairman of our Public Accounts Committee is Mallikarjun Kharge. We know the role of this Public Accounts Committee is to examine. They are going to re-examine the audit report that has been submitted to the Parliament by the Comptroller and Auditor General. Then Parliament will send it for reconsideration to this, that is to re-examine this audit report of CAG to the Public Accounts Committee. This is the role of this Public Accounts Committee. And one more thing is, during this investigation, that is re-examining, CAG will assist this committee during the course of investigation. And none of these 22 members, not even a single member, should be a minister in the government. Now let's see our today's questions. The first question is, which among the following threats are decimating the Indian bustard populations? And the next question is, which among the following Arab states border with the Persian Gulf? Try to answer these questions and post your answers in our comment box. And tomorrow, in tomorrow's video, we will see detailed explanation for these questions. And this is our Law Excellence website where you can access notes for this video, and also you can write mains answers in this website. And this is our official Telegram channel where you can access all the material by Law Excellence. Thank you.